Is working from home actually a privilege that has to be earned, or should this be standard nowadays? I stumbled over this LinkedIn post here, and I think we should look at this. So what this post here said from Chris Ball, it said here, work from home is a privilege you should earn. A junior employee asked me if they could work from home a while back. I had to say no, because I'm not because I'm against working from home or because I don't trust them. I just don't think they are ready yet, right? If you're early in your career, the worst thing you can do is cut yourself off from the people who can teach you the most. Every day in the office, you get insights from top performers without even realizing, instant feedback that accelerates your learning, a front row seat on how the best in the business operate. You can't learn this over Zoom, and if you think you can, you're playing yourself. The fastest way to get ahead in your career is to be in the room where things happen. Watch, listen, absorb, and then execute. And Zoom just doesn't give that to you in the same way. What do you think? So I don't know what you think about this, but for me, I can see both sides. I can see the employer side, but I can also see the employee side. Because when I started with work from home, basically from one day to the other, they said everybody needs to work from home now. And in the beginning, that was really, really cool, right? Don't have to get up, get ready, drive 25 minutes for me, 25 minutes to work, and then start working and work. And then at the end of the day, you drive home 25 minutes and then you're tired, right? So that was in the beginning really, really cool. But then after a while, for me, it was always difficult because I felt disconnected. And that's where I sort of agree with him, because I was accustomed to being in the room with people, to quickly ask a question. They were sitting on the other side, just quickly ask a question. Also overhear other things that is happening in the office, so you get additional information and you can get here, get there if there's something that you think is interesting, and take part of conversations quickly, which I wasn't able to do anymore with Zoom, right? So this disconnect is true, I think. It's also the case of being lonely. For me, it was a big thing that I started to feel lonely, sitting there at home all the time. Not because I was alone at home, because my wife was there, the kids were there, but I wasn't connected to my coworkers anymore. And also from our situation when we built the house, we didn't think that we needed a large office, because we were thinking, oh, we are all time at work anyway, so we don't need a large office. But I think that is something from an employee side. It's difficult, and you have to get a routine, and you have to get in touch with the other people, right? You need to have a strong connection over Zoom, make regular meetings so that you stay connected, that you understand what's going on, and that you are not becoming lonely and depressed over time. I think that is important. So, but that doesn't really answer the question, is this a privilege or is this like a common thing nowadays? I think we can't really go back. That's my opinion. Thinking that everybody goes back to the office, that makes zero sense. Nobody wants to do this anymore. And it's just the way it is right now. And it's going to stay that way, I think. Now, from an employer side, I have employees that are right now that are working fully remote, but like with Corinna, she's in my area. So what we're doing is that we're trying to do an office day every 2-3 weeks, right? Where she comes in, where we talk about stuff, and where we try to stay in touch, try to stay up to date and connected, and yeah, basically that I know what's going on and that she knows what's going on with me. Because as it's still we're using Slack over Slack, this is kind of difficult. But nevertheless, for me as an employer, I can figure this out. It's a bit harder work, right? You need to find the routine. You need to create processes of how are you communicating with the employees. And others that I'm working with, they're not in my area, so we just need to do this over Google Meet or over Zoom. And I think it's a bit short-sighted of saying you have to be in the room with from an employer side. I think it's also a bit of trust issue here with somebody new. They might, or this person might think they're slacking off and they're not really learning. I think you can do that. Some things definitely should be easier from a side when you're in the office. So maybe an office day every week or every other week could be interesting, where everybody's there, where people meet, where you have get together, where you have meetings, and that you try to make that connection and try to update everyone. But also regular meetings, I think that's the big thing that you have to deploy when you have enough people. Yeah. So from an employee side, I think it's not a privilege that you have to earn. This is like something that should be standard nowadays. But also from an employer side, you have to think of it's a bit of a change from thinking, especially if you have been in the business for a lot of years. But it's absolutely possible. You just need to find ways of how to communicate with people, how to set really good goals, right? So that you know who's working on what are the goals for the week, are they actually finishing or are they reaching the goals for the week, and do they know these goals, and how can you see the progress, and how can you help if there is help needed, right? So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. I think this whole thing, it will not go away. This will stay. I personally, as I said, from an employee side, I wanted to go back. Nowadays, I actually enjoy this. I have my office here. I have everything that I want to do, but I'm looking at this from an employer side, and for me, it's not a big deal. It's staying in touch with people, and nowadays I actually enjoy this. But it used to be really, really difficult, and I know from a few coworkers that this used to be difficult for them as well. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like this, hit the like button, and then we see each other in the next video.